Hi again. This time we're going to introduce Chapter 2. Here we're getting into more meatier part of physics, right? We're going to learn how things move. Okay, so going back to Moodle, we're going to click on our Chapter 2 lesson here. Alright, again, you got your score center going on. Okay, so the first thing in Chapter 2 is we're going to get a little history first, right? Because I told you the science is all about curiosity. How does this work? How does that move? What makes it tick? Alright? So Aristotle started this ball rolling way back around 350 BC. Alright? Long time ago. So we're going to learn a little bit about his ideas. And then we're going to move forward in time to the idea of Galileo and how he challenged all of Aristotle's ideas. Okay, so you can read about that. And then we're going to move into ones that someone you probably really know. If I can get to it. Sir Isaac Newton, right? He took all of Aristotle's work, Galileo's work, added to it, built on it, experimented with it, and came up with 3 laws of motion. Alright? So the first law of motion is what this chapter is about, hence the name. Alright, and that has to do all about inertia. Right? Galileo started that idea and Isaac Newton added to it. Okay? Hence the first law of motion is also called law of inertia. Okay? So we're going to learn all about that first law and about inertia. How to get an object started moving, how to stop it moving, how it changed direction, and all that has to do with any forces applied to it. Okay? So to talk about force, we also need to know how do we calculate total force, right? Because you could have tug of war going on, right? Forces coming in from different directions. So we need to know about net force. Now, net force is the total of all forces, but net force also depends on direction. Force is what is a type of quantity that we call a vector. All right? Here we go on slide 10 where we get all started about vectors. Alright, and I tell you how to handle those, and I even have a little video down here. A little extra credit opportunity going on. Okay, so a vector is basically a quantity that has magnitude, right, the how much, but it also has a direction. Is it going right, left, up, down, right? So we have to know all about that and how to handle these forces so that we get an idea of how that object's going to move, like Newton talks about in his first law. Okay, so we talk about vectors and how to handle those, and we also talk about equilibrium, which is balance. You know, for all the forces, you could have 100 forces on one object, but if they all balance each other out, then that object's going to stay just like it is. Alright, and that's called an equilibrium rule, and we talk about that in this chapter as well and give you some examples of how to deal with that. Okay, we also talk about what's called a support force. Okay, have you ever been curious about, let me find it for you, there's our equilibrium rule on slide 13. Okay, so here we go, support force. Okay, so we know forces have got to balance each other to keep an object staying in its current state. So say you got a book on the table. Right? You know the book has weight that's pushing it down, right? You know it does that because if you just dropped the book, it goes down. Right? Well, if it's just sitting there on the table, well, what's the counter force, right? What's causing it not to move? And that's this special case called a support force. Right? That book's weight's pushing down on the table, but that table is also pushing back up against that book so that you have balance. Okay? We explain that, go into a little further detail on that. Okay, we can have equilibrium in a static case, which static means still, no motion. You can also have equilibrium if you are in a dynamic or moving case. Okay, and I explain all of that and how it relates back to Newton's first law. Okay, so read through all of these slides carefully, take notes, watch the videos, they're very helpful. Earn you some points with our extra credit going on. Okay. And there's other helpful animations and videos and stuff through the mastering website and in your book. Okay? If you have any questions, remember to hit up the Muddy's Points forum. Okay? You do have homework and a discussion board to do for Chapter 2. Okay? If you have any questions about those, please contact me. Alright? Enjoy Newton's first law.